ביאור משנה ב'. לאחר שלמדנו במשנה הקודמת, after we learned in the previous Mishnah, שמי שאינו מודה בעירוב דינו כנוכרי, anybody who doesn't agree with that the concept of Eruv is just like a נוכרי, באה משנתנו לדון בענייני צדוקי. Our Mishnah comes to deal with a Tzdoki. A Tzdoki is a full Jew. He just didn't accept the Torah, the oral Torah, yeah. ושונה צדוקי מקוטי. צדוקי is different than a kuti. שכן ישראל הוא, because a Tzdoki is a Jew, just like you. אלא שנתפס למינות. But he became, I don't believe in this, I don't believe in that. ואינו מודה בתורה שבעל פה. He doesn't believe in the oral Torah. הצדוקים היו כת ביהודה. The Tzdokim were a sect of Jews in יהודה, בתקופת הבית השני, in the second temple, שהתנגדה לתורה שבעל פה. They were against the oral Torah. ונקראו אנשי כת הצדוקים, and they were called צדוקים, על שם אבי הכת, צדוק. Because Tzadok was the main guy, he was the first one. Who was this Tzadok? מתלמידיו של אנטיגנס איש סוכו. He was one of the students of Antigonus. בגמורה מבואר שחסרה פסקה מתחילת משנתנו, וכך היא שנויה. The Gemara explains that this Mishnah is missing a sentence. This is the sentence that's missing. Tzdoki הרי הוא כנוכרי. It tells you immediately that Tzdoki, that's the missing part. It says, Tzdoki הרי הוא כנוכרי. It says, you should know that Tzdoki is just like a non-Jew. All the rules that apply to a non-Jew applies to a Tzdoki. Rabban Gamliel אומר אינו כנוכרי. Rabban Gamliel disagrees. He says that Tzdoki is not a Nochri. He's a Jew. Don't call him a Nochri. Not all the rules apply exactly the same. We're talking about Eruv. Yeah? So it says, all the rabbi says Tzdoki and Akuti is exactly the same rules. Rabban Gamliel disagrees. It says Tzdoki is not exactly the same rules. He has different rules, as we're going to see soon. כלומר שמועיל בו ביטול רשות. According to Rabban Gamliel, it says you don't need to rent the stuff out of him. It's okay if the Tzdoki say, you know what, I give away my rights in the common area for Shabbat. ואינו צריך להזכיר רשותו כדין נוכרי. And the Tzdoki doesn't need to be rented his place just like a נוכרי. וכסיוע לדבריו מביא רבן גמליאל מעשה מבית אבא. So Rabban Gamliel is going to prove to them, guys, when you said in the previous Mishnah, if you remember, in the previous Mishnah we said, או אם מי שאינו מודה בעירוב. Yeah? It doesn't apply to Tzdoki. Rabban Gamliel said. All the other... Yeah, if it doesn't. In other words, you don't need to rent from him. You can just nullify it. Yeah? The other rabbi says, no, you need to rent from him.
You have to agree.
Yeah, he has to agree for sure. But you have to rent it out from him. Okay. So Rabban Gamliel says, I'm going to prove it to you. I'm going to prove to you from a maaseh, something that happened. Amar Rabban Gamliel. Rabban Gamliel says, I remember the case. He says, I remember the case. מעשה בצדוקי אחד שהיה דר עמנו. It says, this is a story about a Tzdoki lived in our neighborhood. I know, and I remember what the rabbi said. He tells them. I remember the case. שהיה דר עמנו במבוי בירושלים. He used to live with us in the neighborhood. He used to share the street with us in ירושלים. הוא ביטל לנו רשותו מערב שבת. And we didn't rent the place from him. Yeah? He nullified, before Shabbat comes in, he says, guys, I'm giving away my rights in the street. ואמר לנו אבא, and Abba told us, yeah, in such a case, according to the Tanakama, according to the Tanas, he says, he cannot do it.
You don't have error.
You don't,
because he doesn't agree.
You need to rent. You need to rent from him. It's not enough that he's going to nullify it. אמר לנו אבא, מהרו והוציאו את כל הכלים למבוי. Abba told us, come up quickly, take out quickly, all the vessels into the street. והחזיקו בו בשעת כניסת השבת. So you can have a hold on the street when Shabbos comes in. Ad shelo yotzi, and do this, before whom? Before he does it. קודם שיוציא הצדוקי את כליו למבוי ויאסור עליכם. Before he does it, because once he does it, you're forbidden. It says because if he gave up his share in the public domain, not in the public domain, in the common area, he gave up his share, that means that he's not allowed to carry. Once he carries, you know what he's saying?
Not if he gives a share, then you're allowed to carry. If he doesn't want to give a share.
No, if he wants to carry out to the common area, he needs to own it. So if before Shabbat he gave everybody else the right, how did he give everyone? Because he says, I don't own it. That's how he gave. He says, it's only you guys. I mevatel. In other words, this public domain this common area doesn't belong to me. That means that he's not allowed to carry. And if he starts carrying, he's saying, I didn't give it up. So he says...
So if he takes his vessels out, that means that he doesn't give up his...
That's right. And from here, that's the proof that he has the ability to. So it shows that, look, he can nullify it and he can bring it. Here's a story, exactly like what happened. And you can see now that just by saying, he can actually do it. You don't need to rent it out from him. Maybe it's not such a good idea because he can take it away from you in the middle of Shabbat. But the fact that he can do it, if he wouldn't take it out into the public domain, you're fine.
It shows that you have the achizah.
Yeah, that he can. ויאסור עליכם, and he's going to prohibit upon you. כלומר, which means, שאם הצדוקי יוציא ראשון כליו למבוי, and if the tzdoki is going to be the first one to take his instruments or his vessels into the street, יכול הוא לחזור מביטולו. He can go back from his bitul. In other words, if we, it's actually more than that. I said it wrong. If we put our objects on his domain, which is a common area, which means everybody puts their objects on his domain, it means that he already gave it up. That's what but if he's the one, he's going to be the first one to put the object on that domain, it means that he didn't give it up. So we need to do it before him. And once we did it, let him do whatever he wants. That's between him and God. It's not like I said before. ונמצא אוסר עליכם, אבל כיוון תחזיקו אתם בראשונה, because since you're holding this common area first, במבוי קודם שיוציא כליו, before he had a hold on to it, שוב לא יכול הצדוקי לחזור מביטולו. He cannot even, so now if he does it, he's going against God. But that's it. It's like, okay, like anybody else is going against God. There's nothing you can do about it. ואף על פי שאין חזקה זו כשאר חזקות שקרקע נקנה בהן, and even though the fact that you put your instruments over there, that doesn't buy the land, it's not as strong, מכל מקום מקלו חכמים בעירובים שתועיל כשאר חזקות. They said, nevertheless, over here, they were lenient, it says it's only about Eruv, so they said it's okay. Rabbi Yehuda says, you didn't understand the whole case. You read it completely wrong. Everything we read now, so obviously the rabbis didn't agree with Rabban Gamliel, even though he has the story, and the story is a good proof. So Rabbi Yehuda says, he said, Rabbi Gamliel, you didn't understand your words. You didn't understand. He says, Rabbi Yehuda omer belashon acher. Rabbi Yehuda omer belashon acher. Rabbi Yehuda says it happened completely differently. Rabbi Yehuda sover shetzdoki dino kenochri. It says tzdoki is exactly like a non-Jew. Exactly like a non-Jew. Ve'en mo'il bo bitul reshut. It's not going to help the fact that he's going to nullify his common area. ובלשון אחר אמר אביו של רבן גמליאל לבני משפחתו. It says, I heard it. I was in the same neighborhood. Rabban Gamliel has his way he remembers it. I remember it differently. I remember what happened differently. What do I remember? It says, look, the words are exactly the same. He's saying the same words. I'm going to say the same words he does. But you're going to learn exactly the opposite from the way I'm saying it. It says, Maharu ve'asu tzrachehem b'mavoi. It says, when it says, hurry up and do your needs in the mavoi, not bring the vessels in the mavoi. It says, hurry up and do whatever you need to do in the mavoi now. Now, what do you mean now? Before Shabbat comes in, ad shelo yotzi, because once shelo yotzi, not who? Rabbi Ram Bigelman understood ad shelo yotzi, until the kuti will not take out. No, it says until the day will not come out. Ad shelo yotzi means until Shabbos comes in. When Shabbos comes in, it's going to be too late. You won't be able to carry anymore. That's the way I remember it. He says it's almost the same words. But I remember exactly the same words.
The opposite from what
Exactly. In other words, you're not allowed to use it on Shabbat. You only have until the sun sets. Once the sun sets, you're not allowed to use the mavoi. כלומר, עד שלא יצא היום, which means until the day will not come out. קודם שתחשך. ויאסור עליכם הצדוקי, and then the tzdoki is not going to be prohibited. So it's almost saying the same words. They remember the same words, but they understood it differently.
זה לא make sense איך הגוי יכול להפריע לישראל. כי הוא אין לו שום עניין, הוא גר בבניין. אמנם זה חלק שלו. בבניין יש קומן.
It doesn't. Logically it doesn't. It's only because they wanted to make it's
just להפריע.
That's right. Logically, for Shabbat rules, there's no problem at all. Exactly, there's no problem. Yeah, there's no problem at all, Shabbat. Just because they wanted to put a hard time on these neighborhoods so that people will not live in such neighborhoods. Yeah, it's like they're doing over here in California. They want to save the environment, so they give you a hard time to build or whatever it is, or they want to save the cockroaches. I don't know what they say over there. It's the same idea.